All Home DIY Dad here. Today we're going to show you how to hang a sensory swing from your ceiling inside your house. This is my daughter's room. She needed a sensory swing. We bought one for her. Got it all hooked up and everything here. So we're just going to show you how easy it is to get this thing mounted to the ceiling. Because we are mounting this inside of a house on a ceiling, the swing does need to be mounted to a stud for safety reasons. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you need to do some prep, get your materials together. There isn't a lot that you need for this. So we'll go through quick what you need. First off, you're going to need to find the mount that comes with your swing. This is what mine looks like that came with the swing. I decided to use something different, mostly because this mount has 4 holes, kind of meant to be hung like on a post or something outside, or you could use 2 of the holes to do it on actually on a ceiling joist. But it's not ideal, and I also wanted one that swiveled. So here is an image of the one that I decided to use. Has a ball bearing inside, nice and swivel. I'll put this in the description below so you can check it out if that's something you're interested in. Additionally, you're going to want to use some good screws. These are the 4 that came with my kit. I decided to buy a little bit longer screws, and ones are a little bit more heavy duty to mount because I'm using 2 holes, not 4. I would recommend you get at least 2.5-inch leg bolts. These need to be structural screws, leg bolts preferably, because they are holding a significant amount of weight and it is for safety. These are 2.5 that came with it. I think I ended up getting 3.5-inch screws. I wanted to make sure that I get a good hold inside that ceiling joist so that we don't have to worry about it ever coming out. So you may want to decide what mount you want. Use the ones that come with your kit. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I decided to just get a little bit more beefy ones. You're also going to need a drill bit and a drill gun. You're going to want to get a bit that is going to match the width of your screw, not including the spirals. That's what's really going to hold it. You don't want to make it too big or it could strip out. You don't want to make it too small or it's going to be very hard to get that screw in. So it's going to want to match pretty close to the same width that the actual base of the screw is, or the leg bolt. You're going to want to get a ratchet with the size head that matches the screws that you have to get that thing into the ceiling joist. An alternative to that, if you have it, you can get an adapter that works with your drill. Makes it a little bit easier so that when you're actually putting that bolt in, you can use the adapter and not have to do it by hand with the ratchet. That's optional. You can certainly do the whole thing with the ratchet. Should be no problem, especially if you put a good pilot hole in with that drill bit. We're going to need some tape to mark where you're going to actually be drilling the holes and where your stud is going to be. Something to mark where that hole is going to go and a guide for when you put it up. And a stud finder. These things are the bane of my existence. I hate them. I made a mistake in doing this and where I was mounting it. I'll show you that mistake. It's not a big deal. The scariest part about doing this whole project is you poke a hole in the ceiling and there's no joist there. It's not the end of the world. Your house isn't going to fall apart because there's a hole in your drywall. It's the same thing as putting a hole in your wall. All you got to do is spackle it up a little bit, put some hole filler like you do before you paint a house with the holes from nails for pictures, and then you do a little white touch-up paint, ceiling paint, and you touch it up. It's no big deal. It's annoying. I'll show you what happened with me when I did it. Every attic is very odd and different, and hopefully yours is a little bit easier than mine, but I'll show you what happened with mine. And going along with that, having one of these tools is going to be nice. It's basically a screwdriver, except the end is a very pointy tip. And what we do with this is we use this to poke through the drywall and see if we can hit solid wood to test that hole before we start drilling all the way through and making an even bigger hole in the drywall than we need to. This came in handy for me. I'll show you what happened. The only other tool that you're going to want to need is obviously a ladder, step ladder, whatever you need to get up to the ceiling height. And then obviously you're going to need your actual swing and the mounting for the swing. Every product that I use and all the tools, I'll put links in the description. A lot of it's just stuff you have around the house. You may have to buy something to mount it, so I'll post everything that you need in the description below the video. It's time to get started, so we get the stud finder out, get up on the ladder, see if you can find the nearest floor joist that you want to use. It helps to know which way your joists are going. So you want to know if they're going, one way or the other. They're all going to run parallel with each other. I know which way mine are going because there's an attic above here that I've been in before, so I know they go from the window side to the door side. So I'm trying to find where they're at. Having kind of a hard time. The thing's kind of going off all over the place, and usually joists are about 16 inches, just like studs on a wall. Sometimes they're a little different, but usually it's 16 inches on center between them. And I was not getting that, so I was getting a little frustrated. I marked where the two solid signals were, got the foreman in, my wife, to tell me which one she thinks we should mount it to. I was thinking the further one, she thought the shorter one, closer to the closet. And as you all know, the wife always wins, so we decided to use the one closer to the closet. She didn't want it so far in the middle of the room. Next, get your drill with your drill bit set up. Again, same width as the base of your screw, your leg bolt. And here's where I used my pointy tool. Pop a hole in the drywall, see if there is wood behind it. And my tool failed me this time because it did show that there was wood behind it. So got it in, got my drill out, drilled up. And it didn't take me long to realize I went right through a real thin piece of wood. So here's where I left my prod in the ceiling so it would poke all the way through up into the attic. And I decided, instead of popping more holes, which again is no big deal if you can't access the attic above you or don't want to, you can just keep popping holes where you think those joists are until you find it and then fill those holes. No big deal, but I decided to leave it in and go up in the attic and see where it was at. So I'm in the attic, found my spot, realized there was just some random piece of wood that was stuck in there, and that's why my stud finder didn't work. So I measured over to the nearest joist closest to the closet, figured out that measurement, and then from there I could use my tape and measure then where the next joist out is from that, as they were 16 inches on center. So I did that and measured over from where the other one was from the attic out, because I didn't want to go closer to the closet with the swing. Put a longer piece of tape there, and that's where I got started kind of redoing the process. Used the prod, poked it up, found the stud, then put my drill up and drilled the pilot hole, put the mount up so that I could find the next spot for the second hole, marked that one, and then did the same thing with another pilot hole, and fastened it in with the leg bolts. I decided to use my impact driver, my drill, to do that instead of the ratchet. But again, you can use the ratchet, get it nice and tight and snug. You do not want to strip it out, so as soon as it's giving you resistance where you're feeling like you're going to strip it, that's a good place to stop. Get it nice and snug, and then you're done mounting it. Then you can get your actual swing and the hardware for mounting it to the ceiling and get it all in there. Mine is just the nylon straps, and you kind of hook it through itself. So you put the strap through, pull the rest of it through the bigger loop, like so, and pull it tight, and then you have little adjustment points from there that you can use to get it to the height that you want for your kids. There is the hole that I messed up on. Poke holes, no big deal. You patch them up, you put a little touch-up paint. You're the only one that's ever going to know that that was there. There's the end result, all hung up and ready to get swung on by the kids. But first, the test. Fat Dad, sit in there first and make sure that it is not going anywhere. Because if it ain't going anywhere for me, it ain't going anywhere for the 30-pound kids. And here's my little man having some fun the first time on it. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It'll be very helpful, and leave any questions or comments below.